Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at someone you probably think you know pretty well, Simon Cowell, but maybe from a different angle.
That's right. We're diving into a recent Mirror article from June 12th, actually, reporting on an interview he did with Jeff Brazier on This Morning.
Yeah, and it's not about music or TV judging. It's all about him as a father.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack what he said about fatherhood, his feelings and worries about his son, Eric, who's 11 now.
It really shows a different side, doesn't it? Very different from the tough judge persona.
Yeah,
Much more vulnerable, I guess.
definitely. So let's get into it.
Okay, so right off the bat, the article makes it super clear how much becoming a dad changed him. He doesn't just say it's nice.
No, he actually says welcoming Eric is the best thing to ever happen to him. He puts it above everything else he's done, everything.
Which, for Simon Cowell, is saying something.
It really is. And what struck me was how instant it was for him. He said he was literally obsessed right from the first scan. Yeah, and I think that sets the scene. It explains why he feels so strongly about the challenges Eric faces growing up today.
Right. And those challenges or anxieties, that's really the meat of it here, isn't it? Especially about Eric being 11,
Top of the list seems to be technology, specifically phones.
which is something pretty much every parent can relate to, I imagine.
Absolutely. And what's kind of interesting is, this is Simon Cowell, a media mogul. But he's expressing this almost primal fear about phones.
He uses the word petrified, doesn't he? Petrified of Eric having unlimited access.
Yeah, worried about what kids can see, how much they're exposed to so young. He contrasts it with his own upbringing.
Saying he felt like he learned things at the right time, the right age. More gradually, perhaps.
Exactly, which feels very different from today's world where everything is potentially just a click away.
And it's fascinating because, well, doesn't Cal himself famously not have a mobile phone?
He doesn't. Yeah, he's sort of opted out personally, which must make it even harder to navigate for his son. It really highlights that feeling parents have, that loss of control maybe.
Yeah, like the digital world just bypasses the old ways of filtering things for kids, even for someone like him.
Right. The article even mentions things are changing, and his fear really underscores that parental struggle, trying to keep up, set boundaries.
Okay, so tied into that sort of modern pressure, he also talks quite a bit about school.
He does. He feels pretty strongly that schools put too much pressure on kids now.
He mentioned Eric's schedule, didn't he? Like really long days.
Yeah, getting up at 7 a.m., home at 5 or 6 p.m., and then homework, like 2 hours of it.
Which he thinks is just too much.
Way too much. And he has a very direct suggestion for teachers.
Classic Cal, I bet.
Totally. He basically says, ban homework. Just get rid of it.
For real, just ban it.
Yep. His thinking is kids would be happier and maybe even, perform better without it.
That's bold. I can imagine that sparking some debate among listeners right now. Teachers, parents.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely a strong take. Prioritizing downtime and happiness over more structured work. It clearly comes from watching his own son.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Something maybe a little lighter, but still really telling about his parenting. The showbiz question.
Ah, yes. What if Eric wants to follow in his footsteps?
He's thought about it. And his approach?
Well, it's pure Simon Cowell, really. Honesty. Absolute honesty.
So if Eric wanted to sing, but wasn't any good.
He says he'd tell him straight, look, maybe singing isn't your thing, but what about, and he actually suggests drumming.
Which is perfect, because the article says Eric is a keen drummer.
And apparently really good at it, too.
That's great, but there's that little detail about Eric being shy when his dad listens.
Yeah, like a bit embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's quite sweet, actually. And Cowell's response is just encouraging him, well, don't be. You're really good.
So you see that mix, right? The honest judge, but also the supportive dad.
Definitely. And we've actually seen Eric dip his toe in, haven't we? He was on Britain's Got Talent, pressed the golden buzzer that time.
Oh, yeah. In 2024, so he's getting a little taste of it.
And it seems his dad's ready to guide him, with honesty, but also plenty of encouragement.
Okay, so let's just recap the main things we've pulled out from this deep dive on Simon Cowell, the dad.
Well, first, fatherhood totally changed him. He calls it the best thing ever. Full stop.
But that change brings worries, big worries about Eric growing up now, especially with technology and phones.
Right. And also the pressure from school, the long hours, the homework, which he'd outright ban.
And then looking ahead, if Eric wants into showbiz, the plan is honesty, but supportive honesty, like with the drumming.
Exactly. He'll tell him the truth, but also cheer him on with what he's good at.
And even though he's Simon Cowell, these worries, They feel pretty universal, don't they? Tech, school pressure, supporting your kids' dreams, honestly.
Yeah, lots of parents grapple with these exact things. How do you protect them but also prepare them? Where's the balance?
So it leaves us, and you listening, with a thought, really. Considering Cowell's strong views, wanting to limit tech, ban homework, what do you think is the single biggest modern pressure on kids today?
And maybe more importantly, what's a realistic way parents or maybe the school system could actually tackle it? Something to definitely mull over.